Good morning. It's 11 and I'm live. I haven't done a live one in a while. I've been pre-recording some of these and it's good to be here at 11. And this is our getting ready for Thanksgiving edition. It's coming. Thanksgiving, we are about a week away we have about a week to prep for Thanksgiving, right? Because it's a week from tomorrow. This is it. We're a week left for prep time for Thanksgiving, and I hope you are making some good plans and leaning into celebration. And that's what I wanted to talk about today is celebration. And I am finding just some fresh eyes for Thanksgiving and for celebrating. And I was thinking about kind of these two rhythms that God provided for us as his people of feasting and fasting. And these two kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, but both of them from the heart of God for the purposes of God. And I wanted to talk about these two things, and I wanted to actually encourage you to step into feasting and fasting over these next 10 days. And so here's the way I think about feasting and fasting. I don't know about you, but when I think about feasting, I think that doesn't count for anything before the Lord. I don't think God really cares about the feasting. And honestly, if I'm honest about it, my feasting, I usually end up feeling bad about feasting. I end up feeling that didn't do me any good spiritually and probably didn't do me any good physically. And I regret kind of the over, whatever, maybe that was wasteful to have an extravagant meal out, or I shouldn't have eaten that much. And it ends up a lot of times just kind of feeling like a net negative in my life. And I am discovering that isn't the heart of God. I'm discovering that isn't the heart of God. But when I look at it against fasting, right, I think of fasting and I think that fasting, that does me good. Spiritually, that is good for me. And I should do more of that fasting and I should do less of the feasting. But I just wanted to bring some balance to that thought process and the way we've maybe traditionally thought about fasting and feasting. And instead of kind of letting there be regret around feasting and maybe a sense of I'm earning something in my fasting, I just kind of wanted to bring some truth to that today and into this next week. And I wanted to just take a biblical look at feasting and fasting and invite us into it, because I know that God has good plans for it, that he actually designed both of them. He actually had intentions for his people to do both of these and to have them as part of their life. And I believe they're still supposed to be part of our life today. So the fasting, God actually set up commands with his people as part of this is how we will live in relationship. This is how we will live in community, that I actually have purpose for feasting. And so Moses introduced this kind of way of life to the people in Leviticus. In Leviticus 23, God commands these feasts, these regular feasts that would happen throughout the year, and they would be set periods of time with intention behind them. And he gives them in Leviticus 23. And this is what it says. This is what he just jumps into in Leviticus 23 with Moses. It's the Lord said to Moses, "Give the following instructions to the people of Israel. These are the Lord's appointed festivals." He appointed them. They were an appointment from God for the Israelites, for his people, until Jesus would come. And again, these festivals were purposefully pointing to Jesus to prepare people for Jesus, for the Messiah. So he said, "These are the Lord's appointed festivals, which you are to proclaim as official days for holy assembly." For holy assembly, that there was a gathering together, and God called it holy. And it was a festival. It was a feast. And so he goes on to say in verse 4, "In addition to the Sabbath, which was every week, these are the Lord's appointed festivals, the official days for holy assembly that are to be celebrated to be celebrated at their proper times each year. That God is a God of celebration, and he set up these festivals, and one of them was Passover. And in the Passover festival, every year the Israelites would remember the time in Egypt, the last plague in Egypt, where they would take the blood of the lamb and they would put it on the doorposts of their house. And as they marked their homes with the blood of that sacrificed lamb, the death angel had to pass over their house, and they were protected under the blood of that lamb, right? And that pointed to Jesus, who was coming, the Savior who would take away, like John the Baptist said, like he saw Jesus, and it was like every year they were looking to that blood, and John's like, there he is, the one who takes away the blood of the lamb, who takes away the sins of the world. And every year they had these festivals that they were celebrating, these holy assemblies that they were preparing them then for the truth of who Jesus was and the fulfillment of Jesus, that his sacrifice blood that would take away their sins, they would then pass over from death into eternity, into eternal relationship with God. So anyways, that was one of them. That was just an example. Another one was the feast of the first fruits. And they would do this every year to celebrate the provision of God, that he was the one who provided the harvest. He was the one who was behind their produce and their livelihoods. So they were regularly coming back and being like, God, look what you've given. Look what you've provided. It's you. You are the source behind our harvest, our first fruits. We are giving them back to you as a symbol of everything that's to come is from you. And it was this faithful bit of our first goes to you because you will provide the rest. It's coming. It's on its way still into our storehouses, into our homes. So festivals, feasting, it is given to us, ordained by God as holy. And I want us to come into Thanksgiving, this holiday that we celebrate, and go, you know what, God, just like you appointed festivals for the Israelites, just like you appointed them as holy assemblies for your people to connect with you and who you are and what you are going to still do, I'm going to celebrate. I am going to embrace this festival. I'm coming at it without guilt. Guys, I am coming at it going, God, you are so good and you are extravagant and you are generous. And I am going to actually connect with you in this celebration. You are right in the midst of it. And so I want us to look at Thanksgiving, and I want us to start doing some planning ahead of time. Just like we're planning what we're going to bring, just like we're planning. You guys, I am already planning. There is a sweet potato dish that I only make this time of year. My mom started making it with like so much butter and pecan and brown sugar, and I love it. It is like, but I'm already planning on my sweet potatoes. I'm going to plan in some celebrating with God. I'm going to plan in connecting with who he is and orienting myself towards the Lord in celebration. Also, like I'm planning my grocery delivery, right? And so as you make plans, I want you to begin to think about planning God into the celebration. Plan him into it. It is a holy assembly. Plan him into it. Here are some ideas that I had. Sometimes when I'm preparing food and people are coming over, I pray over the people that are going to be around the table. So as I'm preparing the food, I just pray over those people that I know that are coming. Maybe you start celebrating them. Maybe you start asking God, how do I celebrate? Give me vision ahead of time, how I can celebrate the people around my table, how I can actually join in your celebration right now over them. Another idea is just really thinking about ahead of time how I'm going to thank God, how we're going to come together as a group of people and thank God for his work in our life in this past year. Again, it marks, like just like those festivals in the Old Testament, it marks another year. It marks another come around to the faithfulness of God and his working in our lives. And so let's just get together and take some time to actually thank God for what his work has in my life. Real personal. Tell your story. Tell your story at Thanksgiving. Have someone else tell their story. Tell me about God's work in your life this year. What are you celebrating? How can I celebrate with you, right? And I want you just to start thinking about how can I enjoy the people, the food, the surroundings, the table, the beauty of it all. How can I enjoy it in a way that actually connects me to God? Guys, God is in the midst of so much more than just our Bible reading. And he's so much more than just in the midst of like our prayer time in our prayer closet, right? How can you turn this feast into a celebration with God? Okay, that's the one bit. And this is going a bit long, but stick with me here for 1 second because I want to also say, I think opportunity to just come back to some truth about fasting. And so I actually want to encourage you to, as you're preparing for the feast, I'm going to do this. What about taking a part of a day between now and Thanksgiving and fast? And here's something specific that God has put on my heart for fasting. In Esther 4, you see Esther grabbing a group of people, and she said she was going before the king. She was risking her life for her people. And she said to them, she said, pray for me and fast for me. Fast for me in Esther 4. And so I feel like the Lord's been asking me to fast for someone, that's specifically fasting for someone for breakthrough in their life, fasting for someone who is in that point of like, I will need you to come through for this person. They need healing. They need breakthrough. They need to hear your voice. They need to know your love, whatever it may be. Is there one person that you would do this Esther 4 fast for, where it could be part of a day, it could be a whole day, just between now and Thanksgiving, where we come before the Lord. I'm fasting for this person. I'm praying and fasting for them because they're in a place where they are desperate to see God provide, God go before, God take care of in a really real way. So that's my encouragement, feasting and fasting before the Lord. And bless you guys. I hope it goes well. Can't wait to hear how your celebrations go. And we will see you soon. There's a prayer meeting for women tonight on Zoom. If you want to be a part of that, check out the website. Also, this Sunday we're just streaming, but next Sunday we're going to be having 2 services that are ticketed. That information will also be on the website soon. So take care. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.